call you fake. And nobody has time for being fake. People who are toxic, they tend to want you to play their little games. They want you to play childish, petty games, and grown women just don't have time for those kind of things. I am out of my performing phase of life, and you, as ladies, as grown women, as leveled up, confident, feminine, wise women, you should be out of your playing games phase as well. Welcome to the live. I know this is a very late chat or live chat. It's not my normal, but I decided to come on here and see who I have at this hour. Yes, jealous people, they want you to play their games. They want you to perform. They want you to be the way they want you to be. They want you to feel how they're trying to get you to feel. And when you don't play the game, they don't like you. And that's okay, because I'd rather be disliked for somebody knowing authentically who I am than being fake and having to deal with somebody's tomfoolery. Like, nobody has time for that. And I think people are so accustomed to people acting fake and just going along to get along and just letting them do and say what they want and just acting like it's okay. They don't really recognize when somebody's being real. They don't recognize when somebody's like not going to perform for them. A lot of women, because they are petty, not all women, but some women, have time to play the petty games. And women who are more mature understand that, okay, you assess the character of the person you're talking to, and then you decide if you're going to deal with them or not. And you often see like these petty games being played in places like the workplace, or if you're around, other people in an environment where you have to be around a lot of people. Most of the time, you deal with those kind of childish games in the workplace where you're expected to perform and play along just to keep the peace. And that's not what we do. So, yeah, I don't know about you, but at this point in my life, I'm not performing for anybody. Just stopping in and letting you know I'm taking the weirdos are out late at night. It's not too late. It could be workplace, family dynamics. Absolutely. People want you to play along even though they know that you recognize what they're trying to do, how they act towards you, that they're not genuine. And even if they're not genuine, they still expect for you to somehow be respectful. And that goes to show you the delusion that some people have, where they actually feel like they can disrespect you or treat you a certain way and still get respect in return, still get your time. And that's why you really have to, above Ruby's TV, welcome back, good evening. That's why you really have to protect your space and make sure you're not allowing people who are toxic or try to sabotage you or harm you in some way. You want to make sure you keep your distance from those kind of people. Some people, and I've heard it said that, some people cut people off too soon. It's like nobody's perfect. You shouldn't cut people off just like that. It's not a matter of cutting people off. It's a matter of not tolerating toxic behavior. And I think a lot of people have been so brainwashed into believing that as women, the gracious thing to do is to tolerate everything. Even if somebody is putting you down or disrespecting you, you're just supposed to deal with it. And we don't do that. You find $20 on the side of the road. What do you do? I'm from Budapest and now no one likes me in America. Competition here. Yeah, people, the little petty thing, I just don't do those kind of things. And I know the place that it happens the most is the workplace. And I tell you, one thing I'm not going to do is play with coworkers. Your coworkers are not your friends, and you do not have to perform for those people. You have to go to work and get your money and go home. And when you have people who don't like you or are trying to make things harder for you, because when people are jealous and when they're toxic, they try to make life as hard as possible for you. And if you don't recognize it, you'll go along and play their petty games and think they're actually genuine. Have you read the Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins? No, I have not, but I've heard about it. And I don't know because I haven't read the book, but just based on the title alone, sometimes you have to just let them, let people be. Just let them be however they're going to be. You don't have to be an active participant in their pettiness, in their foolishness. And a lot of people will get upset with you and they won't like you because you refuse to partake in the pettiness, especially women who are trying to get under your skin in some way. They're kind of bullies, they're jealous of you. Women like that tend to bait other women or try to bait other women into getting into altercations with them, getting into arguments, or somehow, having some kind of issue with them by being petty and using childish tactics. Let them sin in peace. Absolutely. I just say let them be. So I haven't read the book, but yeah, you have to let people be. And then also, don't feel like you need to always entertain their presence, even if it's just the two of you. And this is another thing. Even in the workplace, when you're dealing with somebody who is petty and always trying to provoke you, because there are some people who try to provoke you to come out of character because they know you're not that kind of woman. They know that you might not be the kind of woman who necessarily likes conflict. No, don't give them your energy, Olivia. Absolutely not. They might sense that you don't like conflict. And because of that, they will deliberately try to start things with you. You have some people, jealous people at the job, toxic people, especially women, who like to try to bait other women into situations where they're going to have some kind of altercation, some kind of conflict, where they can make them, be exactly what they want them to be. It's almost, and I know this is not just black women here, but it's really hard sometimes trying to fight against that angry black woman stereotype. And I know there are a lot of women who can understand what I'm saying, because if you are the type of woman who is typically minds her business, you don't really get into a lot of altercations, but when somebody provokes you that you will get highly upset. Now you're fighting the urge to be exactly what they want you to be, which, if you're a black woman, it's that angry black woman stereotype. And you will even get this provocation from other black women. It's like they don't want to be alone in the way society perceives them. It's like that crabs in a barrel mentality, where it's like, if I'm acting hood, if I'm acting ghetto, then I need you to act that way too. And you not acting that way is somehow you selling out. So you have some women, especially, and I'm a black woman, but I'm speaking for myself as a black woman. You really have to be careful of women trying to bait you into acting like the stereotypical black woman. It's like it brings them joy to know, see, you're just like me. We're on the same level. You acting ghetto too. You think you're better than me. And those kind of women typically don't understand that just because you can doesn't mean you should. Just because you're the type of woman that can possibly, hold your own, defend yourself, whatever, you don't operate in that kind of energy. And because you have women who are so miserable and maybe jealous of you, they will try to provoke you to bring the worst out of you. And that's why I always say that, especially when it comes to these workplaces, you should have something of your own so that you don't absolutely have to deal with these toxic work environments. Of course, everybody has to work in some capacity, whether you work for yourself or you're outside working. But what I have seen, that many work environments can be very toxic, and they bring out the absolute worst in women. I don't know, like, some women let their titles, let their positions go to their head, and they stop knowing how to treat other women. They suddenly look at them as if they're their competition or somebody that's against them. They no longer see you as an equal. And I'm not saying all women are like that, but there are a lot of women who are, where they get a certain promotion at a job, they start working in a different department, and now all of a sudden they're treating you like you're their peasant. And because they're letting that power go to their head, they want you to bow down, so to speak. And when you don't do that, when you're not fake, that's when they try to make things hard for you. And that's why I say you have to set the tone for how people treat you. I don't go in anywhere, and this is just my thing. I don't start anywhere being too nice. I'm not saying that I'm not kind, but I'm not too nice. You can't be a pushover. Yes, insecure women fled the workplace, so much so that they operate solely from fragile egos. Absolutely, very egotistical. And that's more of like a male driven kind of thing. You know, men have their egos, that's a normal thing. But for them, but for a woman to operate that way, it's like, sis, like, why are you so hard? Like, why are you acting that way? And some women, because of their jealousy, because of their insecurity, it's their focus, their mission to make other women miserable. And they want you to fake like, you know, you respect them, even though they have a nasty character, a nasty demeanor, they're mistreating you, but they want you to play the game. And that's one thing that I never do, and you should never do. So you should never have to bend and be fake and be inauthentic in order for people to like you or to respect you or to get along with you. You should not have to bend your personality to the point where now, okay, people are thinking you're one way, but you're actually a different way. That's why, like, I'm not a performer. That's why I said in the title, like, we don't have to perform for anyone. When you're a grown woman, especially once you get out of your 20s, you're out of your performing phase. It's like you're very, you know, you should be graceful, you should be feminine, carry yourself in a classy way as a woman, but you're not going to, you know, act all rah rah if you don't have to and those kind of things. It's like women who are confident don't have anything to prove. And when you don't have anything to prove and you carry yourself as such, you're going to deal with women who are calling you fake simply because you're not always trying to prove yourself. You don't have a chip on your shoulder. You're not walking around miserable, and they just won't like you for that. Some won't. Performing is the perfect word. Yeah, it's like some people, especially at these jobs, they want you to shuck and jive like you're supposed to be doing a little ditty every time they come through. And it's like, I refuse. I absolutely refuse. Like, I'm going to do my job. I'm going to treat people well, to the best of my ability. And if I pick up on a vibe that's weird, then I just won't talk to you. And that's okay. It's not sinful or unladylike to stop talking to a snake or people who try to burn you. And in the workplace, when you're dealing with jealous, toxic women, they will absolutely try to burn you. They will try to get you so out of your character so that they can turn around and be a victim and say you're the problem. For real, like, royalty, welcome back, welcome back. Keep doing this work. You are here. Oh, that's so sweet, Kay. So true. I'm still working on not performing for certain people out of that spirit of rejection. Yes, when you are afraid of being rejected by people, you may find yourself performing. You may find yourself, you know, being to people whatever they want you to be, even if you end up looking like a clown. And this is not about pride. This is not about ego. This is about self respect and not allowing other people to disrespect you. And I know many people are not accustomed to hearing those kind of things on a femininity, womanhood channel, but being a real, like, grown woman, it's more than just looking apart. It's about how you carry yourself. And a lot of women are sacrificing their own self respect for the sake of popularity, for the sake of money, for all of these different things, just so they can say they're around a certain group of people. Some women surround themselves with women who do not respect them, who really don't even like them. But it's because they're so desperate to belong to a group of people, just want to say they're in the group. They tolerate people who are actually harming them, people who are actually, you know, playing with their confidence, playing with their emotions. I love your hair so much. Also, I love what you talk about. You inspire me. Jazz 014 over. Thank you so very much for that. Yeah, don't be so desperate for friendship and you so, you know, afraid of rejection that you just start dealing with anything and everybody. Um, I was like that for a little bit, not to the extreme, but I dealt with a lot of behavior from certain people where it was like I was just so comfortable with them being around that I would ignore, you know, the little side remarks and the little negative things they would say. But over time, I noticed those things were bothering me. And ladies, that's how you will know that you might be so afraid of rejection that you're tolerating toxic behavior because you'd rather keep the feeling of being rejected on the inside, but you're making yourself feel miserable, all because you don't want to dismiss or cut people off or put distance between yourself and other people. You can tell you're a people pleaser or used to performing for people when you rather make yourself feel uncomfortable than to call out somebody's bad behavior or get away from it. And that's just one thing you cannot do. If you really want to be free and live a peaceful life, you cannot tolerate people who bring chaos into your life. I've listened to what you have said and I became much more happier. Oh, that's sweet. Awesome. I'm so glad that you're getting, value from what I say. And these are things that, a lot of these things I had to learn over time. And it's because, thinking that I have to act a certain way for people to like me. I have to be a certain way for people to like me. I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to offend anybody. I have to watch what I say, how I say it. I don't want them to feel. I don't want them to feel. But what about how you feel? What about your confidence? What about your self respect? What about you as a woman? It's like sometimes we care so much about what other people think that we hurt ourselves. And sometimes not trying to make other people feel like, your whole purpose and life's mission is to be whatever they want you to be. You don't normally have to say anything. You don't have to say anything. You can simply just dismiss yourself from the situation. I think a lot of women have it confused today where they think that they always have to make a big, fuss over things. They have to make everything a big announcement. When you're done with somebody or you don't want to be bothered with a certain situation, you can simply dismiss yourself. Like, you don't have to make a big announcement and say, I'm no longer talking to him no more. I'm not calling her. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. Just do it. It's like simply just do it. Drift away. Do your own thing. Don't be bothered with them anymore. Like, literally, when I say about being unbothered, that's exactly what I mean. Unbothered. Meaning you don't even have to address the situation. Everything doesn't have to be addressed. You don't, this might sound weird to say, but I don't believe that you need closure in everything. I believe that if somebody is harming your spirit and every time you come around them you feel uneasy, or you feel like you're being mentally, psychologically, spiritually tormented in some way, just make moves. That's what grown women do. We just make moves. We don't sit here and explain ourselves, overly explain ourselves to everybody. We just do what we have to do. And I think when more women get into that mindset, been watching your channel and decided to stop talking to a coworker playing nonstop. Yes, even stuff like that. Yeah, even stuff like that, as a coworker, dealing with coworkers, if they're stressing you out with their complaining, you might be in that environment with them, but you don't have to take in everything they're saying. I've worked in enough work environments to know how to ignore some people, because bad enough you already have to be at work. Nobody really wants to work. I don't believe anybody really wants to be at a job that they don't want to be at, but even if you have to be there, you don't want to deal with people nonstop complaining and murmuring and all of that kind of stuff. Let me get rid of this troll. Report. There we go. There we go. Report. Some people are weird. And I tell you, when I see men come on here, this is all things woman, and I see men come on here, that is the weirdest thing. But I know it's probably somebody sitting in their mom's basement. No girlfriend, no wife, no life. So, God bless them. But anywho, yeah, even stuff like that, when you're dealing with coworkers who don't know how to, thank you very much, Free Rain, I appreciate you. That even when you're dealing with coworkers who try to stress you out with their negativity, I just don't have time for that. You can tell you're doing something right when you start getting more trolls. And it's later at night. What's that song from back in the day, The Freaks Come Out at Night? I see that. It's coming to life right now. Weirdos. And I'm trying to be chill. I can definitely go in, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that tonight. And it's men. Very weird. Yes, that's wild. It's always men. Yes, very weird. I'm like, the men today, not all men, and I wasn't going to go there, but they're making me go there. A lot of the men today, the trolls are out tonight. Yeah, absolutely. It's a full moon too. Well, that explains it. Yeah, it's like men, they like each other more than they like women, which is very weird, but I'm not even going to go there. People been acting weird. Yes, the whole world is acting weird, but I'm not going to waste my time on that. I want to stick to my subject at hand. They're feminine, absolutely. Yes, a lot of men today are very feminine. The way they so sassy and they sass you back on situations that don't even have anything to do with them. My goodness, like men love being in women's spaces, absolutely. And I'm not saying that we don't respect the opinions of men. When I say men, I mean men who are masculine. If they have a valid opinion or point about something, or they're interested in something, they have a respectful question, I will take those. I've had a couple men come on the live that actually had a respectful question. They were just curious. I respect that. But men that come on here with insults and saying all these things, and I'm like, why are you so sassy? What's wrong with you? My goodness. But yes, coworkers who try to stress you out with their negativity. I have been around many work environments to the point where I don't even let it phase me anymore. I just tune them out. Thankfully, I work on a computer a lot of times, so I'm either on YouTube, I'm looking through, Amazon, looking for things places to shop, thinking about, my next book idea, planning my future. I hear some people at work saying, it's boring. The boring days are the days I use to plan my future. It's like, okay, when it's boring, I'm writing down ideas on my next book or my next YouTube topic or whatever I could be doing. Um, you know, I don't have time to, I'm never bored at work. It's like when it's boring, it's easy money and you can focus on the things that you really want to do when you're not at work. I coach football and these kids are lost because these men, I didn't catch the last part. But yes, people want you to be fake. And even with, for instance, the men being on here, some people will say, this is a femininity and womanhood channel. Shouldn't you speak to men more nicely? Shouldn't you be this? Shouldn't you be that? I want you to understand something. A part of being feminine, a part of being a woman, a grown woman, and respecting yourself is not dealing with toxicity from men or women alike, because men will put you through what you allow them to put you through. And I know that might rub some people some kind of way, but that's just what it is. The more you tolerate, the more they will do. If you don't challenge, no real man, no masculine man wants a woman that never challenges him. And a lot of these men that come into this comment section, you can tell nobody ever challenged them. People got them thinking that they're normal, and they're not normal. Mama never said, be quiet. Daddy never said, be quiet. What you're saying doesn't make sense. Nobody ever told them that. And it's obvious. Yes, they're just annoying as these jealous women. Absolutely. And I see a lot of your comments saying, can you do more videos about jealous men? And the reason why I don't touch that is because I haven't had too many interactions, or know of too many interactions with men in that regard. I have a couple videos about it, but honestly, it's just like I never really picked up on things like that with men because I don't care. It's like the moment I start noticing with a man that you're trying to act like me, like you're trying to act feminine, I just act like you don't exist. Like I can't respond to that. I don't know how to interact with that type of dynamic because I'm used to being around men who act masculine. These men grew up in houses with miserable, drama-filled mothers. Yeah, that too. They're used to fussing and arguing all the time. I don't know, it's weird. The interaction with jealous men looks just like women. And that's the reason why I can't identify with it, because if I'm seeing a man looking at me, but the way you're responding and acting is like a woman, it throws me off. It makes me feel weird on the inside. So I don't know how to respond to that. So I just disregard it. Sassy little basement dwellers. Absolutely they are. Do you think the saying, this both ways, behind every great man or behind every terrible man, or do we take good credits only? I don't really know what you mean by that. If you want to rephrase your question. But yes, people expect you to be faked. And I think that's just not in the workplace, that's in life in general. It's like you come across people and they want you to act like you never did them wrong. They never did you wrong. They want you to act like, you know, they want you to be delusional. There's a lot of delusion in the world today where people want to act like, what you're seeing, you're not seeing. It's like so many people are walking like in the dark, where when you actually bring things to light or you see things for what they are, they want you to believe that there's something wrong with you because you're seeing the nonsense, because you're seeing the disrespect, because you're seeing the behavior. They want you to feel like there's something wrong with you. That's really the way the world is now. Behind every great man is a great woman. What is behind every terrible man? I do believe that saying to an extent, because when you have a woman, and just for like marriage purposes, when you have a woman who's actually a man's helpmeet and he knows how to lead, I do believe in that saying. But I go more so from like the Proverbs 31 kind of woman, where it kind of says her husband was respected in the city gates. Her husband is respected a lot of times because you're wrong for challenging their BS. Absolutely. Yeah, only feminine men get upset when a woman challenges their BS. A wicked woman is a wicked man's portion. Exactly, a wicked woman. All women are not wicked, just like all men are not leaders. Like, you really don't want to go there with me. You don't want to get into that topic with me, because the stock we have out here today, as far as men, I can make a video alive on that alone. We will be up all night long. Like, you really don't want to go into that with me. And on this channel, this is not a man bashing channel. We love men on this channel, masculine men, masculine, feminine. You are boring and your chat is really not interesting. So I'm moving on. Happy trails. Happy trails are. It's weird. Your life is boring. What did you expect? What did you want? What do you want? What do you want? I'll give you what you want. Tell me what you want. You have specific questions, because I can answer your questions. I'm not going to hide you. I'm going to give you an opportunity to stay here. Those who are born of the flesh, those who are born in the spirit is of the spirit. Satan's children are born of the flesh. Absolutely. That's exactly what it comes down to. So darkness and light. And, a lot of these things I believe are spiritual. There is a deeper spiritual meaning behind a lot of these things. The petty side of my brain is saying go back and forth, but the save side is saying just remove this person. But this time of night, I really feel like I just want to keep going, but I'm not going to do that. Just because you can don't mean you should. I have to remind myself of that sometimes too. Yeah, he's probably bored because he's used to getting on a live where he's seeing a woman removing her clothes and talking about nothing. Some men are not logical and in tune with God. Yeah, some men, if they don't have God, then you have no foundation the way I see it. Some men, if you don't really know what it is to be a man, then what can you say to me? I don't understand. The fact that a man would even volunteer his time at this time of night to come onto a woman's channel and speak about things that don't pertain to him shows that that is not a man. Some men, just like women, really don't understand what it is to be a man, what it is to be a woman. A man does not come onto a live of all things woman and say, I'm going to pick with her today, like some kind of minion. That's weird. It's weirdo behavior. A lot of men have no idea what it means to be a man today. Your anatomy does not make you a man. Every species has the same thing, male and female. But what makes you a man is knowing who you are and what's actually required of you as a man. If you don't know that, you can't come on a live talking about these things. You're out of your element, sir. Weirdo behavior. Very weird. And it's so sad. And they wonder why. Thank you, weirdo, because you inspired me. They wonder why some women are so masculine. I will tell you why. One of the reasons why some women are so masculine, it's because they have dealt with sassy acting, foolish, feminine, effeminate men for so much of their lives that now they have to step in to be what the man is not being. So a lot of men are looking like the women today are masculine. Yeah, some women today are masculine. They're rough around the edges because they don't know no better. The mothers never taught them how to be feminine. But it's also a lot of the time that they have dealt with men who do not know how to be men. They have dealt with men who are like, I don't know, you tell me what to do. I don't know. Sitting in the basement scoping out all things woman. Very cat-like behavior in a man. So the next time they have these conversations about why women are so masculine today, I suggest that they look at themselves and say, at 10:10 at night, am I on YouTube scoping out women's channels who are talking about women topics, talking about and airing my opinion about something that does not pertain to me? And then that will give you your answer as to why you keep attracting masculine women. It's because you're a feminine male. That's why. Feminine men attract masculine women because they need somebody to lead them because they're not men. Please don't allow some of these gainsayers to piss you off. I won't, but that needed to be said. Thank you so much for the amazing content you provide. You're welcome. That needed to be said because what's happening on the internet is that a lot of women are not mentally strong enough to deal with some of the things that are thrown at women. I see a lot of the stuff that's thrown at women on the internet, on YouTube. And while I said I'm not into men bashing or anything like that, but some of the men who criticize women so much have absolutely no right to talk. And I know this is going to rub some people the wrong way, but if you have your children, you have 3 and 4 different children from 3 and 4 different baby moms, and you're not married to none of them, there's nothing you can say to me. I wouldn't even dare take instructions from a man like that. I wouldn't dare take any kind of advice, instruction, criticism from a man like that. What can you tell me? And you don't even take care of what you birthed out, what you planted. You don't take care of that. That's weird. And yet you have some women, and that's the reason why I encourage women to follow channels like mine and other channels so that you do not subject yourself to people like that. Some of the people who criticize the most should not be talking, period. They should be listening and learning. Well, maybe the guy is still good at his job. If his job is to plant seed, then that's about it. But a lot of women who are immature, they will think that that's all there is to a man, and it's not. I still take boxing advice from the workplace is full of miserable bullies. I've experienced it personally and have observed with male. Yes. Nobody wants to be bullied at work. Tanner, are you a woman? You said you would take boxing lessons from Evander Holyfield. That makes sense because he's a world-renowned boxer. He has something valuable to offer. But what kind of advice, as far as character, can a man who doesn't take care of his children offer to you? The workplace is a certified narc-coven. Absolutely. And this is not the point of the live. I'm just trying to get you to understand because I think this is where the disconnect happens with a lot of men and women alike. We try to separate the behavior from the person as if some outer body experience happened and made the person do what they did. I'm not saying people don't make mistakes, but 4, 5, 6, 7 different people is not a mistake. That's a habit. That's a character flaw. Again, this is not my issue. This doesn't apply to me. But men got in the comment section. I'm almost certain they don't have themselves together. I'm sure he is one of the few that could take care of his kids. I don't care about Evander Holyfield. That's weird. That's weird. Like, I don't understand. Do you think Evander Holyfield is sitting back at home thinking about you? I never understood, why do people go so hard for people who don't care about them? I don't get it. I'm just saying in general. I've even had people, I'm not even going to get into it. It's late. But back to the original point. I left a man because they didn't take care of their children with me or their other children. That says something about the man's character. Yes, that's common sense. And it's not just men, it's people in general, men, women. It says something about the character. I've heard many things about the post office. It's crazy. No, but you talked about not getting anything valuable. You take advice from whoever you think imparts value and wisdom into you, Tanner, okay? Idolizing. Absolutely, free reign. That's exactly what it's about. Idolizing. And that's another thing. You will find yourself having an issue with people when you don't idolize people or idolize them the way they want you to. For me, I don't really get in awe of anybody. I just see people as people. I might be inspired by you. You know, if you're doing something great, I'll acknowledge you. But I don't worship people. And some people who are jealous and dislike you, it's like they want you to worship them. They want you to act like, you know, their existence is somehow some kind of gift to you. And I'm not saying that it can't be, but people who are like jealous and they want you to pander to them, they want you to like bow down before them. When you don't give them that kind of attention, then suddenly you're fake. Suddenly you're this, you're that. It's like the only one I'm in awe of is God, not people. Like, why would I do that? Why do I feel like I have to do so much to get in your good graces? Like, I didn't even feel that way with my parents. You know what I mean? Like, you have some people who actually expect that from you, especially when they feel like they can belittle you in some way. It's very weird. Like, people are used to idolatry. That's what it is. Idolizing idolatry. Yes, that's where they put their treasure. Exactly. External validation. When you don't need all that outside validation, people look at you like you're odd. Like, that's weird. Like, you don't care about what they think. No. It's not that you want people to think the worst of you, or you don't, value other people's opinion. It's just like, I don't live my life so that other people can pat me on the back and say, good girl. Like, for what? Why? What is that going to do? You have to feel that way about yourself. If other people say it to you, wonderful. Outside validation is welcomed but not needed. And I think a lot of women, when they feel like it's needed, that's when they start valuing the opinion of people who are doing nothing but belittling them and putting them down, especially when they have no right to. I look at these shows like Pop the Balloon, and I don't watch these shows, but I heard of them. Pop the Balloon and all these other kind of shows where women actually, it used to be that call-in YouTube show, Kevin Samuels. People used to call into him. Women would call in and let him rate them and all of that stuff. And, on a scale of 1 to 10, would I be considered a 10 or a 5 or whatever? You're a 7 at best. And it's like, who made him the standard? Like, why are you all calling into this man and making him the standard? It's that kind of mentality. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that you shouldn't care what your husband thinks about you. You shouldn't care about this. I'm not saying that. That was so pitiful. As another woman, I was embarrassed. Absolutely. Every time I would hear or go through a clip of a woman calling in, asking a man to rate her, why? Horrible. And fastest ways to plummet your self-esteem. Absolutely. Women kill their self-esteem by turning to outside people to tell them who they should already know they are. Again, I'm not saying you don't need encouragement. We all like and need encouragement from time to time. I'll give you a real situation. Earlier on, when I was in my 20s, and I'm a Christian, I felt like every time something happened, I had to get on the phone and call every prayer warrior. I had to call, everybody at the church had to know so they can pray for me, so they can prop me up, be on the phone. I had to constantly call everybody. Every time something happened with the kids, I got a call. Every time something happened, I got a text. I got a call. And eventually for me, it was like, okay, you're going to either like trust God with this, and you're going to have to be able to deal with this situation and trust that God is going to fix it. or you're going to continue to be anxious and miserable. But you can't hop on the phone and tell people all your business every time something goes down. You don't need to get on the phone and have somebody prop you back up. Like, you have to be able to do that, because what will happen is that sometimes you weary people with your issues because they're only human. And some people end up despising you because of that, because they just mentally cannot handle it all the time. Boundaries, absolutely. And now that I have boundaries, I understand that unloading on people all the time, that's not wise. Not for, it's not good. It's not good for you. It's not good for them. It's draining. It's exhausting. Again, not saying you don't need somebody to turn to or talk to, but feeling like you can't make it unless you got somebody propping you up, that's like a recipe for failure, in my opinion, because people change. People get funny. They called having coping skills. Exactly. You have to have coping skills. Took me a long time to learn boundaries and importance of them. Absolutely. Again, you have to reach out for help. I'm not saying if you need help, you reach out. But I mean, don't be codependent. And you have some people are very codependent. And you don't want to give people that much control over you also. Because some people can tell when you're very codependent, when your whole life, your existence, your self-esteem, how you feel about you depends on them. You have some people who will take advantage of the fact that you are so weak-minded that you have to depend on them to say you look beautiful or you're great in order to actually feel that. You don't ever want to give a human being that kind of power. That's how people start manipulating and taking advantage of you, because they think that they hold your life in their hands. Thank you, Marcel Powell. I don't give anybody that. I love my husband, but it's like, I still have to be okay with me. People change. God and my husband to an extent. I care about what he says, what he feels, those kind of things. But I can't be caught up in what other people think and, feel about me and all this other stuff. Like, you will depress yourself. Thank you, Lynn Gallas. I appreciate that. But yes, being fake helps no one. And if you're not willing to be fake, if you're not willing to be fake or play other people's games, then you can expect to attract some haters. You can expect to attract people who are not going to like you. That's just the way it is. I ask people to handle this for a minute, but I also warn them that I'm going through something. I give them a chance. Miss Witt 205, welcome. Welcome back. Hello. Yes, like, I'm not going to perform. It's called self-esteem for a reason. Absolutely. Not performing for nobody. And then, yeah, back to the job too. It's like, okay, if I come in and I'm not feeling it, then I do my job to the best of my ability. But it's like, okay, I'm not going to be, I'm happy in general, all of that. But we're not robots. And this is another thing you have to realize with womanhood in general, and not fake femininity, but real womanhood. You're not always going to feel like you want to be on for everybody. You're not always going to feel like, okay, I'm ready to just smile and make sure everybody's this and everybody's that. That's not how women operate. We have hormones. Everybody has hormones. But we have different cycles. We go through different seasons. We change throughout our age. You go from your 20s to your 30s. Your body changes. You go through all those different changes. And your personality and the way you carry yourself and the things that you want to tolerate changes. Your interests change. You get more mature. And you're not always going to be that woman that's like, okay, whatever you need, I'm here. Sometimes it's like, I don't feel like being bothered. I say that often. Want to go somewhere? No, I don't feel like being bothered with people. And that's okay. That doesn't mean you don't like people. That doesn't mean you don't love people. I don't feel like being bothered. I came home early today, thankfully, because it was slow and I didn't feel like being bothered. It worked out. I don't have energy or desire to perform anymore. Absolutely not. If it comes genuine, if it comes natural, I think those are the best relationships, the best friendships, where you just click with people. But if I have to try so hard, like I'm trying to make you like me, I'm trying to make you, not saying that you shouldn't get to know people, but you can tell when things are being forced. It's like once you pass the age of 30, you don't feel like forcing anything that's just not meant to be. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen naturally. Performing ends at some point. No one can be fake forever. Absolutely. Like you cannot live your life being fake. And you have some people who have built whole relationships on a fake personality, on a persona. And I think that's a reason why you have a lot of women or a lot of men and women alike who see women and see, she's not feminine. See, he's not that. She's not this. She's not that. It's because you're always trying to put up this one side of yourself, hoping that this is the side that people like the most. When actually you need to show them all of you. All of you. The part of you when you get upset. The part of you when you don't feel being bothered. The part of you when you got an attitude. The part of you when you are sweet as pie and helping everybody. Just be yourself. Be real. Don't always try to be on. Don't try to be a character. A lot of the women today are characters. They're putting on for other people when they don't have to. I refused. And that's why I say be unbothered. It's like if you are a woman, thank you very much, if you're a woman of character, of class, of grace, and hopefully you have God in your life, you being you will be enough for the right people. You not feeling like, okay, I don't agree with this, but because I know that I don't want her to be upset, I'm just going to go along with it. Even though I might put myself in harm's way, I'm going to go along with it. Like, we don't do stuff like that. A lot of women have the same personality at first, and then they let their guard down. Absolutely. And sometimes it's letting their guard down, or it's just really being who they are. It's like, stop always showing your representative and just be yourself. I became stoic about 10 years ago. No expectations, no disappointments. And free reign, I definitely understand that. I'm usually upbeat jokester, but I do have. Did you know that free reign? I caught part of your comments and then it disappeared. Good evening. I love your channel. So nice to meet you. Thank you, Shirley, for being here. Shirley Mediva, thank you. I appreciate you all too. Yeah, but I'm not going to be fake. Yeah, when I was growing up, I had a lot of practice having to fake with people, with women that I didn't like, having to fake with girls that you don't like, you don't care for, that you don't, really get along with. They mistreat you, they try to bully you, and yet you're trying to fake nice because your loved ones, your relatives, your friends are saying, go talk to so-and-so daughter. No, I don't like so-and-so's daughter. So-and-so's daughter is mean. So-and-so's daughter is nasty. She has a nasty attitude. Just like trying to fake with the women in the workplace or the women at the store, or the women, at church or whatever. If they got a nasty attitude, a nasty demeanor, I'm not going to fake act like I like you. I'm not going to be nasty to you. I'm just not going to be bothered with you. I saw a clip on TikTok of, I think this channel has been beefed up my life. Awesome, awesome. I saw a clip on TikTok of, I believe, Phaedra, where she was talking and they asked her, what did you like about the show? They said, what do you like about the show? Will you miss the ladies? And she said, no. She said, they're a bunch of evil bees who don't like anyone. They're miserable with a nasty attitude, and I don't like them. That's what she said. Now, her delivery was very harsh, but at least she was honest. She said a lot of them, because they look funny looking, because of this, because of that, they're those mean girls that don't know how to treat other women. They just don't like other women. And there are a lot of women who are like that. They just don't like other women for some reason. And it's okay to say that you recognize that. Phaedra, yeah, I like her too. I never really, I haven't watched the show that much, but from the clips I see of her and how she speaks and carries herself and the way she looks and, talks and all of that, she seems educated. She seems like the classiest of the ladies. So I don't understand when people don't like her either. But again, reality TV is something else. So Armor for the day. I have mainly been blunt, not fake. I have made a lot of friends that appreciate that. Sisters don't. I have 6 sisters. I saw Phaedra in person. She wasn't friendly, but gorgeous with flawless skin. And yes, she will attract a lot of envy. So yeah, I mean, I don't know her personally. I don't know her personality. I just go from what I saw in the clip. But the point that she made about some women being, they just don't like women. They're very mean and miserable and nasty for no reason. That's on point. A lot of these women have a Jezebel spirit. Absolutely. And it goes without saying that all women are not like that, but a lot of women are. And that's the reason why more women are reluctant to make friends with other women. They rather be by themselves, or I would say 5, 7 years ago, they would prefer to be friends with men. I don't know if that's the same way today, since men seem to be no different than women, a lot of them. But can I get a shout out to the Absolutely. I stopped performing, especially at the workplace. I'm well mannered, but I do not entertain anymore. You're nice and you still get bullied. Yeah, and people are so surprised at the adult bullying. I never thought making friends as an adult would be this hard. I know I see a lot of women who say that trying to make friends at this age is hard. And yes, it can be. The idea of making a friend, I don't think you really set out to make a friend. It's just like if you become friends, that happens. I know for me, speaking for myself, I'm not going out to make friends. I have things going on in my life. I don't really think about those kind of things, but I do have a lot of acquaintances and, people I get to know. And having friends, that takes work, meaning you have to be willing to reach out to them and answer their calls and answer texts. And, I think in our fast paced generation and everybody's online, everybody's busy, you know, I'm so happy my life. So y'all give me support, your support too. I'm so happy. Envy. I lost 221 pounds and the hate is real. Oh, yeah. I love your book. Oh, wonderful. But yes, yeah, you have making friends. I don't know about that, but yeah, it takes work, just like a relationship. I think some people forget that friendships are still relationships and they take work. Yeah, 221 pounds. I just had to go back and reread that. I'm like, 221 pounds? That's amazing. Yeah, friendships take work. And a lot of women, if you're busy, you have family, you have businesses, you have whatever you're doing, you might not have time to really nurture those friendships. And I have to remind myself, because I do have a couple good friends, and I have to remind myself to reach out to them, to make sure I'm not too busy to spend time or to call them or to text them. It's important. And I think a lot of that, some women, because of pride and ego, that part too. Yeah, friends have to be equally yoked. Absolutely. Because of pride and ego, somebody's always waiting. Well, why I got to be the first one to reach out? She don't never call me. I got to call her. These kind of things too. And the equally yoked part, absolutely. You don't want to hang around people who are not doing the same things or have the same kind of mindset like yourself. Like if you're a woman who values your health, values your mental, values your spirituality, values your life, you don't want to hang around with women who don't. You don't want to hang around with people who don't care about how they treat their bodies. They don't care about neglecting their kids. Family's not important to them. You wouldn't have friends like that because your family might be important to you. People treat you so differently when you change that much, but I'm blessed. Absolutely. I noticed changes in my life once I started changing up and getting closer to God and all of that stuff. People drifted away, but that's fine. It wasn't fine at the time because you're wondering, trying to figure out, why are people acting different? Why is this? Why is that? It's because your mindset changed, because you don't deal with the same things you used to deal with. Not just spiritually, but even when you change spiritually, certain things you used to tolerate, you don't, and people just can't handle it. It's like, you're not going to let me disrespect you no more? Why? It's weird to think about that, but you got some people who are like that. Like, you was never had an issue with me talking down to you. Now you got an issue. Yeah, because I respect myself. I love myself more. It's weird that something like that even has to be explained. Yep, yep. I pulled back from a friend because I noticed she became funny acting when we went shopping. I had to pull back because her lifestyle was different than mine. How so? How is her lifestyle different from yours? I'm just curious. Yeah, when you're friends, when you don't have the same kind of lifestyle, then you can clash in that way. Now I shop alone without anyone counting my money. Absolutely. Yeah, you have people like that where it's like, okay, if they see you spending too much money, then they feel some kind of way. And if you don't have the money to spend money like that, then they treat you some kind of way. It's like one of those things, darned if you do, darned if you don't. That's why it's best to be around people who like you and love you regardless, you know? Friendships really shouldn't be based on status, you know what I mean? I know in this superficial femininity and content creation, you know, these different topics is very superficial, where women are teaching you that you only value people according to what they can do for you. But there are some decent people who might not be on your level per se, or you're not on their level, but it's not about that. If you have mutual respect and you genuinely care for one another, you can have a friendship with somebody who has more than you, less than you. Like, I'm not that kind of person. I don't look at people as dollar and cents, but I do take issue with people who now want to monitor what I'm doing because they're not doing it. That's my only issue. I don't like when people suddenly, okay, well, you're doing too much. They feel some kind of way. I don't have time for that. It's like if all you can do is afford to walk around the park, we can walk around the park. You're still my friend. I don't care about that. We'll walk around the park and go get, you know, a water ice. You know, that's fine. We don't have to go to extravagant dinners or spend boatloads of money. Or if I'm in the mood to spend a certain amount of money, then I'll do those things on my own, where I don't have to be scrutinized for what I do. You know what I mean? It's like it doesn't have to be so deep or so serious. That's why you can't let um, trends and social media phenomena kind of get your mind all out of sorts. Loyalty is everything. Absolutely. Social media have you thinking that, okay, well, she doesn't make as much as you, or she makes too much and she's not going to accept you, so you can't be around them. Everybody's not like that. There are some people who are, but everybody's not like that. And that's where a lot of the jealousy and envy comes in, because people have that kind of warped mindset. If women had the mindset that instead of being jealous of this woman, I'm going to be inspired by her, especially when they're not doing anything wrong to you, friendships will work out a lot better. But some women get so insecure around other women, they don't even see how blessed they are sometimes to even be in proximity to people doing the same things that they want to do, or to be around somebody who might not have the same things they have, but they can impart wisdom and give them, you know, encouragement or what have you. We all have something valuable to offer in some way, but the people who only hate on and get jealous of other people, those are the people you want to protect yourself from. Yeah, this is not like a dollar and cents thing where it's like, okay, high value, low value, all that. Earlier on, when I first started this channel, I was using that terminology, that phrase, you know, those terms, high value, low value, but I don't do that anymore. What kills me is when people who have more than me are envious of me. And yes, it can be because of your character. It's not always about things. Yeah, it's not always about things, because I've had women treat me some kind of way and I wasn't working, I wasn't doing nothing. I mean, I was just being me, you know, and funny acting and all of that. And it's simply because I'm not funny acting, because I treat all people nicely until you give me a reason not to. Some women are so masculine, so manly, so angry. They just don't like women who are kind and have a sweet temperament. They just don't like it. And these are even women, because I know this is it's very shallow. This is kind of how the world goes. Even women who you perceive as looking better than you, they still have that kind of mindset. Always try to see the good in others. We never know what they've been through. Absolutely. Give people the benefit of the doubt. Give people grace until they start mistreating you. And don't deal with it. Still give them grace, but get away from them. Unless they are willing to turn around from their way. But don't let somebody just keep doing you how they want to do you. Like, even as a spiritual person, even as a Christian, I don't subscribe to the fact of letting somebody just continuously harm you and mistreat you. Forgive, yes, but with forgiveness is supposed to come change. If somebody says they're sorry and they don't change, then what are you supposed to do? Just keep letting somebody knock you in your head? Or letting somebody hurt you or whatever? That's foolish. Listening to your channel has taught me to trust my instincts and discernment. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, people try to manipulate you with that whole, you don't know what people been through. We all have been through and or going through different things. That is no license to mistreat other people. You got to stop using that as an excuse. Somebody has an argument with their wife, with their husband, and decides to run their truck through a crowd of people. Can't justify it because they were going through something at home. It's evil. Lack of self-control. That's just what it is. Got to stop justifying things that are not justifiable. Accountability. And that's a word that's thrown around so much, but a lot of women and men alike don't want to be accountable. People in general. At this point, if you have questions, video ideas, absolutely, Lou, absolutely. Any questions, any video ideas? How are you liking the most recent videos? Any topic request? Have you gotten the books? Girl on Girl Wars, a book on jealousy and envy against women. I see a lot of your book reviews. I appreciate that. How to Be a Feminine Woman, the Blueprint. That's also on Amazon. And then How to Detox from Toxic People. That's also on Amazon. And I'm working on another book that I'm hoping to have released by the end of next month. Part 2 of the video from yesterday. I'm thinking about making that a series. I saw somebody put in the comment section that should be a series about jealousy and obsession. So I'm definitely thinking about that. I just don't want to run right into it because that topic was kind of heavy. And it was even heavy for me to get into because I know the idea of stalking and, obsession and infatuation and those kind of things, that is real. And I can't say for me personally that I have dealt with those kind of things. And if I did, I was not aware of it because I just wasn't paying that close of attention. But I definitely want to get deeper into that. Yeah, it's very heavy. So that's why I'm like, I don't want to just jump right back into that the next day just to throw out a video. Like, I actually want to do research and just, think on how to articulate that because a lot of people go through it. The reasons why people are that way, I just can't comprehend why people are so miserable. That gang stalking is diabolical. Yes. And, for me, spiritually, and I know this might be too simple for some people who really want to get the inner workings as into why people are so miserable, why this, why that. But the way I see it, it's like when people don't have a foundation, which is like actually having a relationship with God, you're going to be, you're going to just go wherever the wind blows you. Like, I remember this, what is the movie from Dr. Seuss? It was a Dr. Seuss movie. And they played that song, how bad can it be? I'm just doing what comes naturally. When you don't have a relationship with God, you just do whatever comes natural. Even if that's miserable. Even if being a miserable, horrible person, you just do it. You have no filter. You do whatever comes natural, no matter how horrible it is. So that's the way I see it. It's like, if you really have that, you don't have a foundation, that's why it is the way it is. People are naturally wicked, from a spiritual standpoint. The way I see it. To expect anything different is almost like being a little bit naive. I'm not saying all people are that way, but to expect that there's some kind of like people walking around here are like angels and perfect people, it's a little bit naive. They appear to have it though. They go to church, they seemingly have great lives, yet they create chaos. There are some people who are like that. Again, all people are not like this. But the way I believe that you're not good on your own. You're good because of the Spirit of God on the inside of you. That's why. That's deeper. That's getting into spirituality, which I'm not getting into. But That's the way I believe. So I don't believe there's a lot of good people walking around. No, no. That's just not what I believe, me personally. People are selfish. Like, it's every man for themselves. Like, that's the mentality. Like, human beings in general naturally have a more savage like mentality. It's like me first. Like, if I have to sacrifice me or you, I'm sacrificing you. You know, that's just the natural state of how people are. Thank you, Kay. Absolutely, free reign. That's the way I see it. Any video ideas, video requests, or questions pertaining to the subjects we've been talking about for the past few weeks? I appreciate you all. I actually did a little bit of housekeeping, and we need to be self-aware of our connection to each other. Everyone isn't aware of that, unfortunately. Absolutely. Yeah, I did a little housekeeping, and I went into my comment section to look at some of the hidden comments, because I have a filter on my comments so I don't see things that are inappropriate. So sometimes, because I'm curious and I can handle it, you know, for the most part, I'll go in and look at some of the hidden comments or the things that were flagged as inappropriate just to see what they were. And I really didn't get anything that was highly inappropriate. You know why they flagged some of the comments that you all put? It's because of the cussing. It's like some of the points that you all would make in the comments were spot on and you were agreeing, but because of the cussing, YouTube flagged it. So if I didn't see your comment or heart it, it's because I never saw it, because it was flagged for the cursing. I'm like, some of you ladies just be cussing. You agree, but you cuss. And it's going to flag it every time. So that's the reason why I did not respond. But I was surprised that a lot of those inappropriate comments, other than that, there wasn't anything negative. So I'm really thankful and grateful for that I don't have a lot of people coming on saying a lot of negative things. There are some people that are on YouTube, they get trolls, they get people who are forcing them to want to quit. And I'm just not wired that way. Like, the more people try to make me stop doing what I want to do, I will continue doing what I want to do. So I'm just not wired that way. It's like I see some people getting bullied off of YouTube. I'm shutting down my channel. No, because of a troll? Because of people? You're crazy. They're sitting home watching me. I would never. Unless I see that I just want to make a change. Which further drives the point. Don't let anybody bully you out of the thing that you want to do, or the thing that is benefiting you in some way. Started following you on Instagram last week. Free reign, thank you so much. My Instagram account is very dry. It's very dry. I don't spend too much time over there. I give almost 100% of my time, content creation wise, to YouTube, because YouTube is the most beneficial, both to you and to me. So I spend a lot of my time over here on YouTube. I'm trying to build up the following over there on Instagram, on TikTok. I have a few people who are following. If you want to follow me on TikTok, same name, All Things Woman. You can follow me over there. But yeah, on TikTok it's different, because I see a lot of things over there that just don't make sense to me. Thank you so much, Free Reign. I know this is like, you know, content creation and all of that, but this is still work. And being on YouTube, even though I enjoy this, I don't consider it work per se. It still takes a lot out of me to do these videos. So thank you so much, Angie Powell. Hope you liked it. Doing these videos here on YouTube is a lot. Now, trying to spread myself between YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, that's going to be a lot for me. So I'm just really trying to pace myself. But I do see the following over on TikTok starting to grow a little bit. And when I post a live video here and there, or a video, I get a couple hundred views. So I know that it could be like what it is over here on YouTube. I'm just trying not to burn myself out. What is the theme of your channel? Femininity, womanhood, and I give life advice. It's in the description. So yeah, I'm thinking about doing that over on TikTok as well. And I have a lot of ideas, but I'm just one person. So I appreciate you all. And I'm about to wrap up this live because we are going over an hour. But I appreciate you all for being here. If you have not gotten the book, you're going to go crazy on TikTok. They are going to love your message. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, I got that feeling too, Kay, that if I do go over there and really do the videos like I do over here, that it will blow up. It'll be good. I have no doubt. It's just a matter of time and then balancing the two. But I will figure it out. But I appreciate you all. If you have not gotten the book, How to Be a Feminine Woman, the Blueprint, the link is always in the description box, and it's in the description box of the channel. Girl on Girl Wars, a book on jealousy and envy amongst women, that is also in the bio of this channel. And then How to Detox from Toxic People, that's also in the bio of this channel. It's always there. I appreciate you all. Please stay on YouTube. Oh, Angie, trust me, I wouldn't leave YouTube. I would do TikTok in addition to YouTube. Oh no, YouTube, this is the main thing. This is the main platform. Yeah, YouTube is the most beneficial to me and to you all. So I would definitely stay here and try to do TikTok in addition to YouTube. Instagram, something going on with their algorithm where it's changing. Again, I haven't given too much time to these things. Facebook, I don't really think that's even worth it. But yeah, for me to do that, I would need to have a lot more time on my hands for that. Maybe in the summer. But I am going to be going live over on TikTok more often. So just follow me over there. And you all have a wonderful remainder of your night. I'm getting sleepy now, so I'm going to go to sleep. A new video may be posted tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then on Friday. How to deal with my family. They are toxic. I have a lot of videos about that. Continue being authentic. Oh, thank you. All right. I appreciate you all. Good night. Take care.